go backstage to our host, Patrick Watson.
It won't come as any great surprise to learn that 3 of the American singers singing here tonight flew in from Europe for the concert. It's becoming a commonplace of the opera world that important singers are on the move a great deal, flying all over the world to meet their engagements, and to some pretty delicious locations, from Milan to Berlin to Tokyo to Toronto to San Francisco to Paris to Rome to London. But just think for a minute of the opera singer as somebody who has to carry an instrument, a delicate instrument, through many time zones, through changes in climate, amongst people with many microbes. And the risks to that instrument are considerable. A little fatigue here, a little too much jet lag there, too many hours in the superheated, desiccated atmosphere of a jetliner can pose terrific problems for that instrument. There isn't an opera singer anywhere in the world who doesn't take special care of the voice. But the opera singer on the move, that's not just an ordinary matter of natural health care. We drop in on stage director Luciano Pavarotti in Venice to learn more.
Yes.
Venice, long a favorite of American artists, is the home of the historic Teatro La Fenice.
This theater, La Fenice in Venice, I think is, I don't want make the other theater around the world unhappy, but I think this is the most beautiful piece of jewelry. It's not even a theater. I think it's really a piece of jewelry. Beautiful. I don't want to become a director. I am just directing the opera. I think it's going to be the first and the last. Very probably is going to be the only one.
The opera, starring Shirley Verrett, is Donizetti's La Favorita.
Una grandissima reazione, più grande di quella di prima. Io pom 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 pom. Tutta bianca, sempre a bianca.
No, non è possibile perché io penso la mia...
If it hadn't been for Luciano, I would be home in New York for Christmas. But he called up, and he's always so dear and so sweet. And so when he said, I'm taking on this craziness, you know, of directing an opera, and I said, why not? And we together at the Met, and it's really wonderful. He's good. He has really wonderful eyes.
Questo è perfetto, guarda. Re di Castiglia, Alfonso. The concentration must be so strong that before you begin to sing, just 1 second before, you have to hear the note. And then you will not make a mistake. But if you think at the last moment to invent the note, I think it's not going to be good. And it's the most important thing. The most important thing is attack. E con qual grito! You have always to be alert. You have to be like the man who is waiting to start for the 100 meter. I was very lucky when I was 12, because in my city, Modena, Beniamino Gigli, one of the greatest tenors of the past, came to make a performance. And I asked to be introduced to him. They brought me there at 11 o'clock in the morning, and the man was vocalizing, and he vocalized for 40 minutes. He was at that time 57 years. The same night, he sang Lucia, and after Lucia, they brought the piano out in front of the audience, and he sang a full concert. So when I hear him 11 o'clock in the morning, I wait until 11:40. He came down, he says, little kid, I say, I would like to become a tenor I am a alto, and he says, well, very probably you will, because when the voice changes, it's changing from alto to tenor. And I says, how long did you study? And he says, I just finished. So I get the message. If a man of 57 has to vocalize 40 minutes in the morning, it means then there is no other trick to keep the voice in good shape. You have to consider yourself a student, and until you consider yourself a student, the voice never abandons you.
To sing well, you must not only study and practice, but also care for your instrument by living well. Shirley Verrett says that she's become a loner to protect her voice.
People who are buying the tickets are buying to see me at least in pretty good form and to have my strength. And for me to keep my strength, I must stay away from people. Most singers, when we get up, I mean, we have a thing of going, seeing that if that's clear and if the sound can come through without too much of an impediment, you know, then it's okay. And then you can wait till about noon or 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon to really do a job of vocalizing.
Shirley Verrett's natural courtesy sometimes leads her to break her own rules.
I tell you what I did when I came home. I gargled like mad, and I wash my hands as soon as I get in the house after shaking hands with people, and try not to touch myself in the face. My mother taught me that. Sometimes people have thought that maybe Shirley Verrett was going to retire because they don't see the name around very, very often. And a lot of that is because I made a promise to my family, to my husband, and we've just celebrated our 25th anniversary. And when we married, there was a contract really saying, look, we married because we love each other, not to be away from each other all the time. And because of that, I only allow myself to really work 6 months of a year.
The pleasures of travel are often outweighed by the pressures, according to the young American baritone Thomas Hampson. He makes his home in Vienna, but for now, he's living and singing in New York.
Any opera singer that travels more than they stay in one place is under a lot of tension. I think the idea of yoga is indeed to listen to your body more, and I find myself some days able to do things. Some days I cannot do that posture. And that tells me something about either my level of stress, my level of fatigue, my diet. You know, I mean, those three things are actually infinitely more important than a good voice teacher.
Wherever Tom Hampson travels, he takes his tapes of historic singers.
He was also one of the first baritones, Giuseppe De Luca, to record arias in their original language, which for an Italian to sing French at that time seemed to be some sort of feat. I'm listening as acutely as possible to the actual voice quality of the person, of how they were singing. It's part of the way that I give myself voice lessons. So everybody's paranoid about a cold. A cold is very aggravating. You can have a cold and still have your body underneath you. If something hits my body, that's when I'm in trouble.
Hampson's fiancée, Andrea Haberstein, flew in from Vienna to be with him in New York.
You can't ski. I would die. I would break both of my legs. I can't do it. No, I can't. You know what I look? I look like. Well, I don't even want to.
No, we tried.
I don't care what it looks like. It just hurts.
No, we hold you.
If you hold me, I'll try and ski. Well, that's not the idyllic the idyllic life that I lead. Most of the time I'm out in the park running off a bad mood.
Let's go run. Come on.
Because she's not here.
But it's the life Hampson has chosen.
I want to work with as many different great artists that I possibly can, you know, and if I sit in Vienna or Munich or New York or so, I'm not going to work with, in 1 year, Haitink, Abado, Ozawa, Levine, Bernstein, Harnoncourt, and so forth, or Ruth Berghaus, or Jean-Pierre Ponel. I mean, God bless his soul, he's gone now, I'm sorry. But I mean, you have to stay mobile, and I think a young career, I feel a responsibility to stay noble. I don't see much choice in that.
Stay noble?
Mobile, excuse me. Did I say noble? Yeah, I think you stay noble as well, but I think mobile is more important.